Hi, my name's Sadie, and I'm a student here at Midwestern University in the Occupational Therapy program. Today, I'm going to be showing you my occupation-based kit for my activity analysis course. The occupation I chose for this kit is play, and the population that I chose are children with sensory processing disorder and children with upper extremity weakness. I've named this activity Safari Search because we are using safari animals for the incentive of the child performing this activity. The material you'll need for this kit are 2 different sized containers, whatever you have around the house, lentils, shaving cream, some object that you can put within the lentils or the shaving cream of substance. So I got these little safari animals, a washcloth or paper towel, and some tools for pinching and scooping. The way that I chose to adapt this activity was changing the shape of the containers. So we've got this Tupperware that's a little bit shorter, and then we've got this pan that's a little bit longer but about the same depth. There are a variety of ways that you can grade this activity. So one way that you can grade this activity up for the child with sensory processing disorder is using something like shaving cream. This is going to be abnormal for most of us, and it's going to be they're going to be very hypersensitive to something like this because they are hypersensitive to textures. So the shaving cream is going to add a little bit more sensitivity than the lentils would. I say this due to the shaving cream sticking to the child's hand when they go in for the object. A grade down for that child with sensory processing disorder would be using something such as these tools. Instead of the child having to, so it would go like this. The safari animals are inside the container. You take the shaving cream and you cover them completely, fill up the bucket. Instead of the child having to stick their entire hand in the shaving cream, which may make them feel uncomfortable, you would have them use the tool, maybe to scoop the shaving cream and the object inside of the bin and set it on their cloth that they have on the table. Using the tools would be considered a grade down for the child with sensory processing disorder because they don't have to directly stick their hand in that shaving cream, especially because it is wet and sticky. It will stick to their hand, which also may make them feel a little bit more uncomfortable. A way to grade up the activity for a child with upper extremity weakness is using different tools, same thing that we use for the other child. Using these different tools is going to make them use different forms of grip. So the spoon would look something like this, having to scoop it out and find the objects. And then you could also have them use tongs and pinch the object out from the bin. You can even make it more difficult by using something such as tweezers. Another way to grade this activity down for both children would be to use larger objects. So these safari animals are pretty small compared to something like this that will be like a little bit easier to grip for both children. So these ones are going to use a little bit more fine pinch. This you could use all 5 fingers to pick up out of the container. The way that this would benefit the child with sensory processing disorder is that they would have to go less far into that substance to take out the object. The lentils can be used as a grade up for the child with upper extremity weakness. They're a little bit more dense, a little bit more heavy, so they're a lot harder to push and pull when searching for the objects than compared to the shaving cream because it's a lot more light and fluffy. There are also so many different ways that you can individualize this activity for your client. If you know what they are sensitive to, you can use that substance, such as water, oil, some kind of like puff balls, dried rice, dried beans, whatever you can think of to help that client become a little bit more comfortable with that substance. You can also change up the objects that you are putting within the substance. So instead of animals, maybe you could do just dinosaurs for a child that is into dinosaurs at the moment, or cars if a child is into cars at the moment. Anything that gives them the incentive to finish the activity and complete the activity. This is what the shaving cream final product would look something like, with the animals all underneath it. And then the lentils one looks a little something like this, all covered up inside lentils. As I said before, this would help the child work on grip strength, manipulation, coordination, having to hold this while also searching for the objects within both of these, or just using their bare hand. Tongs would look something like this. For the shaving cream, the child can, again, use the tool so they don't have to touch the objects directly. They still have to search for it, find it, put it on their cloth. And that's what we use this cloth for, to then rinse off later. And then if they were to use their bare hand, they'd have to kind of dig through it to find that object. The good thing about using these animals is that they get to play with them after. So this gives them incentive to finish the activity because they get toys after that they get to actually play with.